everyone, this is Anwatu here. Welcome back once again to another beautiful day, another day of book review with Chizoba.
Hello again.
So we are here in continuation of this book, The Seventh of the Land of Judah. This is the first segment.
Yes.
And Chizoba is here to take us through chapters 7 and 8. Yes. 7 and 8. We have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And today she's here to tell us what is in chapters 7 and 8. So, Chizoba.
Yes, ma'am.
Dig in.
Thank you. Okay, so before I begin, I want to thank you
for
this
so much.
awesome privilege.
Thank you.
I am always so humbled and honored, to be here. Okay, so let's quickly begin from where we stopped.
Yes.
It's an interesting one, right?
Very, very interesting.
I promise you, it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
The deeper you get, the more it unravels.
Yes.
So, chapters 7 and 8 in this session. Chapter 7 says the power of becoming. In parentheses, understanding the power of rebirth. The power of becoming, understanding the power of rebirth in parentheses. Now, there's nobody who is alive who cannot take something new. There's always chance to improve, to progress. The Bible says when the Pharisees and Sadducees saw the boldness of Peter and John, they discovered that they were first unlearned, but then they took note that something had happened to them that made them bold. We see that in Acts chapter 4 verse 13, which says, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and discovered that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled and took knowledge that they had been with Jesus. They took knowledge that there was definite things they were saying that showed their source, that showed where they've been eating from. So the lion that is carnivorous does not keep company with herbivores.
What's all?
Yes, their diet determines their company. Their diet determines their company. Likewise, you should be around your kind of company, because it's possible for company to corrupt. So you should be around your kind of company. Great societies don't trifle with this. This is because when people are not discipled, they can miss their future, their destiny. We all are discipled into something. So one of the ways to know your future is through your discipleship, because we are all discipled into something. Acts chapter 7 verse 22 says, and Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptian and was mighty in words and deed. He was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and then he became mighty through a definite learning. In Luke chapter 24 verse 19b, I'll just be taking from B. The Bible says, concerning Jesus of Nazareth, a prophet, mighty in words and deeds before God and all the people. Now, both Moses and Jesus were mighty in words and deeds because they underwent a kind of learning. Yes, not a general learning, but they gave themselves to definite learning. Even Joseph, who was not incarnate, visionary, also underwent a definite learning. He bought the Egyptians and their land for Pharaoh through a formula he knew. Now, studying the stories of this man, you would discover that there was a particular point. It seemed like they had nothing, but eventually became great because they gave themselves to definite learning. Exactly. They became great. And because they follow that path, they don't deny it to people. That's why, they record that experience. They don't deny it to people. It's a parent that became great through training will not deny their children that. They will not deny their children all they went through to become and know all that they know. It is painful for parents to have full-fledged adults and be suffering.
Very painful.
This is painful. This can only happen when they waste their children through neglect. And when parents waste their children, contribute to the wastage of their children through neglect, the child will, they will suffer for it. They will pay so much for it. Through the pain, the children return to them. Some even claim that their children don't listen to them, whereas in truth, they did not start early
enough.
Exactly. When a man of God, or when a man goes through conversion, achieves self-birth, he becomes living word. All who achieve this don't trifle with rebirth. That is why they bring books. That's why they write. That's why they document. When Moses became a god, he brought the Pentateuch. Now that book represents the people. It represents the destiny of the people. The book is the rebirth of the people. They cannot be inheritance outside rebirth. But some people, because of deception, only mind inheritance without caring about rebirth. But they cannot be inheritance outside of rebirth, outside building. In Acts chapter 20, verse 32, the Bible says, "And now, brethren, I commend you to God and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and give you inheritance among the sanctified," not among strangers, among the sanctified people. But there's a building among the sanctified people. That's a definite learning and a definite people of a definite destiny. Yes, people raised by an ideological thought. So they cannot be building, they cannot be inheritance outside of building. It is in our building that we are separated. Every word expressions raises different kind of people. So it is in our building we are separated. But in that building, power is revealed. It is in that building that reveals power. That is what is called the power of becoming. Remember the title of this chapter, the power of becoming. That is what is called the power of becoming. There is power in something you are becoming. So discover it. In that is power. But it starts with enlightenment, and the earth provides all the opportunity for that shift in mental paradigm. However, this starts, as I said before, with enlightenment. Once the eyes are enlightened, the heart burns and takes a shift. This is why great men pay attention to becoming. They pay attention to learning. In fact, greatness compels people, or the seed of greatness compels people to learn. This is why they, they mind becoming, not just they give themselves to definite learning. Now, when such people who went through, remember, it takes travail to birth. So when such people who went through, excruciating process to produce greatness, tell their story, they bless their hearers, because honor is achieved through a transformational process of rebirth or self-birth that comes through travail. So when such people share the experience become like a roadmap for others, thereby blessing their listeners, because they have mastered pain. They became something from nothing. They fell, but they refused to stay down. They kept rising and falling. Meanwhile, some people refuse to move because they either waste experiences of pain or protect mistakes, or both. When people protect mistakes, they find it difficult to move forward. In fact, every delay starts with a protected mistake. But great seeds will always enjoy transformation because they pay attention to becoming. This is why they go after books. They read. The light in them, there's a hunger to express that light in them. So there's a gravitational pull towards light, and life, as I said before, provides all the opportunity to be all we can be. So with each passing day, give yourself to learning. Learn something new. Because when you learn, you will move. And when you move, you will know you have moved.
It will show.
Exactly. It will show both physically, spiritually, even financially. Otherwise, when the value of your being increases, it will definitely affect your productivity. Coherently, that new season will attract new miracles. It's not possible to change without an internal transformation. And that inward change, it's not possible to go through that inward change without recording something physically. So give yourself to discipline learning. Then you will function in power. Moving on quickly to chapter 8. Chapter 8 says, mystery will finish through the self-birth of the ancient Lion King. I'll say it again. Mystery will finish through the self-birth of the ancient Lion King. Now, anytime an infinite intelligence is unraveled, an eternal light is born. And Satan is handicapped each time a light he cannot interpret is standing before him as a person. You cannot win against such a light.
You can't.
Yes. Likewise, you cannot win a spirit that knows more than you. You cannot also lose to a spirit you know more than. Yes. Exactly. So it all boils down on the intensity of your brightness. Furthermore, there are 4 important places in eternity. These 4 have their candlesticks that represent Yahweh in embodiment, both in thought and brightness. And these 4, unfolds along different timelines. There are 3 important timelines: the candlestick, the candle of the law and prophet, the candle of grace and truth, and the candle of vengeance, which is the last. If you go to the timeline of the last eternity, you will find these candlesticks marking the ages. Now, it is important to note that these candles were contributed by men.
Yeah.
It's not God that, it's not the duty of God to fetch light for men. Men fetch their light. Also important to note, it is the Jews that contributed this light, the whole of this light in these 3 timelines. Yes, only the Jews. So it's not the duty of God to fetch light for a family or a land. It is the people of the family or land. It is the duty of the people of family or land to fetch their light to progress. If they fail to do so, then the light that will give birth to a new destiny will not come forth. Thereby, change agents will not be born. And these things, this is why it looks like people go in circles.
They remain where they are.
They don't evolve. Thank you. The Jews, by the light of the Jews, God gave birth to Moses. And over time, the light gave rise to the prophet. Then, the law and prophet, the lights of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, Elijah, Micaiah, etc., kept contributing to this light. Then when the light was sufficient, it collects and produced Christ, produced Jesus. So it is the duty of men. It is still men that will fetch the light that will give rise to the Lion of Judah, vengeance, not simply handed over to them by God. It is the duty of men. Men participate fully in fetching the light that enables God's unfolding among humanity. All the comings of God with mankind in humanity. It is important, it is good to pray for your family, but it is not as decisive as storing light in the heaven of the family. Because all the challenges you dislike are caused by lightlessness. Lightlessness is the spiritual poverty that prevents remarkable growth and destiny from manifesting. And it often lingers because the people who should take responsibility for this don't sit up to it. And it's not God that will fetch it.
No God.
It is the duty of man. And the people must generate this light through their progressive effort and impartation. Light provides the opportunity to move our families in the right direction, to progress. The capital difference between the law and prophets from grace and truth is that God employed a higher intensity of brightness to form Jesus than he did in forming the law. This explains why Moses and Elijah appeared to Jesus at the Mount of Transfiguration. By the light of the Jews, God prepared Moses. And their witness helped illuminate who Jesus is in an even brighter light, an even higher intensity of brightness. Now, this explains a principle that we should not deny our labor, our effort, the effort you're making with speaking posterity. God visits the stories in the loins of men to visit their posterity. So to deny your labor is to, in effect, deny yourself. There are realities you cannot attack because these realities form the essence of your being. They constitute you, who you are. So fighting against is arguing with an unfolding destiny. That's fighting a losing battle. It was the effort of the law and prophets by their light brought, the light, the higher light of Jesus Christ. So you see, it's a progressive journey. So when people don't appreciate knowledge, they don't have value for knowledge, they will lack the urge to train their children because they will not know the importance of progressing, of planning to progress. So it takes having an appreciation for formative truths to, have the urge to pass on light. There have to be an appreciation, a gratitude for formative truths to pass on light. Light is the most important thing God possesses. Light is the most important thing God has. The most important commodity to God. Light measures value and governs thoughts, while thoughts moderate life. I'll say that again. Light measures value and governs thoughts, while thoughts moderate and regulate life. I hope it has blessed you so far. Until I see you again in the next, which is the last.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I'm definitely going to see us again in the next edition to complete this book. Chizoba said there are 3 timelines.
Yes.
The law, grace and truth, and vengeance.
Yes.
I don't know if I've heard about it, but you have heard it now.
Yes.
And they are all came to pass by efforts of men.
Yes.
They did not come on their own. And light is everything. You need to get light by all means, because light determines your value.
Yes.
Light determines whatever you're going to get on this earth. Without light, you are just on your own. So that will be all for today. You're going to come back for the last segment of this book. This book is a life transforming book, honestly, life changing book. The self-birth of the Lion of Judah. We're going to come back to conclude it. Until then, we're going to say bye.
Bye.
Thank you.